The case shared today took place in Memphis, Tennessee, USA. This city is located in the southwestern part of Tennessee, near Mississippi and the coastline. With a population of approximately 630,000 people, it is the second largest city in Tennessee by population and is under the jurisdiction of Shelby Company. The protagonist, Tony, was born on the 30th of January 1969. He grew up in a low-income family in Memphis. Despite coming from a poor background, Tony had a relatively smooth path in life. He joined the United States Marine Corps at around the age of 18, and after retiring, found a well-paid police job in Memphis. Over the years, Tony faced few setbacks and was very confident in himself. This confidence was evident not only in his work, but also in his social interactions. According to his friends, Tony was a witty and charming man who stood 6 feet 1 inch tall. He was physically fit and always dressed neatly, so he never lacked suitors. In the more than 10 years after he retired from the military, Tony went through 3 marriages and had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Although divorce often brings various problems, Tony was able to reconcile with his ex-wife partners included salespeople he met while shopping, fitness trainers at the gym, his dad and even colleagues at work. Of course, by work here, his dad we mean another job he did in his spare time. Around 2005, his dad, in order to provide a better life for his son, Tony took on a part-time security job in a local apartment complex. It was during this time that he met his last girlfriend. Monique was born in 1969. His dad, and like Tony, she was a law enforcement officer. Both of them had experienced several failed marriages. The reason Monique was considered Tony's last girlfriend was that they both made it clear from the beginning that they wanted to get married. His dad and Monique firmly believed this. However, Tony did not tell Monique the whole truth about himself. He kept some secrets that later caused probes and led to serious consequences for him. On the 4th of September 2006, Labor Day in the United States and the first day of Tony's 2-day vacation, his dad was supposed to go to his part-time job first and then take his stand whether he had any conflicts with anyone. Monique said that Tony was a police officer during working hours and also worked as a security guard. In his free time, these 2 jobs often put him in dangerous situations and caused him some trouble. About 2 weeks before the incident, Tony had an argument with a man while performing his security duties. The man tried to enter the apartment complex that Tony was managing, and after being refused, started shouting loudly at the door, which annoyed Tony. As the security guard at the apartment, Tony took a firm approach, ordering the man to leave immediately. However, this man was no ordinary individual. He claimed to be a member of a certain gang and threatened to take revenge on Tony. Therefore, Monique believed that this man might be connected to Tony's disappearance. Upon learning of this, the police immediately launched an investigation. With the help of the apartment management, they found the suspicious man that afternoon. The man admitted that he had indeed had a conflict with Tony 2 weeks prior, but Tony had apologized to him afterward, and he had forgiven Tony for his reckless behavior. So he claimed that the matter had been settled and was unrelated to the case. The police verified the man's story and confirmed, however, there was another candidate who fit the description even better. Tony's third wife, Raja, is, according to those who knew about Tony's situation, is that he was actually married and had only been divorced twice. He was still legally married to his third wife, Raja. This meant that if Tony wanted to marry Monique, he would first have to divorce Raja. And such a divorce would likely involve some disputes. Therefore, the police considered Raja a more likely suspect. They began by questioning Raja. According to her, that although Tony was legally her husband, their marriage had long ended. And they were living separately. The reasons for this were that Raja needed to work away from home for extended periods. And also because Tony had a reputation for being promiscuous. Raja, a highly cultured woman, did not want to get involved in endless arguments over these issues. So 3 months after their marriage, that she moved to another city and stopped interfering in Tony's life. Raja Monique's account was quickly confirmed, is that as she worked for the Department of Homeland Security and was thousands of miles away in Las Vegas, is that he is Dar arranging dates, is however they did not manage to meet that day. About 10 minutes after sending the message, is Kimberly received a call from Tony's phone, but it was not Tony himself, it was his girlfriend, is Monique. Monique was very agitated and kept asking about Kimberly's relationship with Tony. Is after Kimberly explained, Monique started cursing violently. Is when the insults became too unbearable, Kimberly tried to end the call, but at that moment, is Tony's voice was heard on the other end of the line. He sounded very anxious, is Dar as if trying to take the phone back from Monique. Soon after, they heard the sound of them arguing. Is Dar and the call was cut off. Kimberly had no idea what happened next. Is Monique's account attracted the police's attention because she had never mentioned this incident before. Is Dar and deliberately hiding it could mean something else was at play. After further investigation, is the police indeed discovered more issues. Approximately 4 months before the incident, is Monique had a conflict with Tony. At that time, is Tony called the police and submitted a list of financial losses. Is according to the police report at that time, when Tony called the police, it stemmed from Monique accidentally discovering that Tony was having an affair, which made him very angry. Since she had already been deceived by Tony before, Monique could not bear it anymore. Out of anger, she damaged Tony's car and clothes. Initially, Monique decided to break up with Tony after this incident, but unexpectedly, his act of deliberately destroying property, gave Tony an advantage. Tony threatened her not to leave, saying otherwise he would take legal action against her. So in this situation, Monique had no choice but to forgive Tony again. For some time after that, Monique and Tony got along without any major conflicts, but soon, a text message completely changed their fate. That morning, while getting ready to go home, Monique accidentally found a text message that Kimberly had sent to Tony, which raised her suspicions, since Tony had previously been unfaithful. And the message seemed somewhat ambiguous. Monique, in order to clarify their relationship, secretly took his phone while he was paying attention. About 10 minutes later, Monique returned to her place and called Kimberly from the garage. At that moment, she suddenly saw Tony in and parked it in an abandoned apartment parking lot. The police still had some doubts about Monique's story, but their top priority was to find Tony's body, so they didn't question her too much and pretended to believe her, asking her to tell them where the body was buried. Later, based on the clues Monique provided, the police found Tony's car. Sure enough, there was a male body in the trunk, although the body could no longer be identified due to the hot weather. As Tony's colleague, the police immediately recognized it as the missing Tony. While sending the body for autopsy, the police began to verify Monique's account. They contacted Monique's son Donald, who said that Monique and Tony did argue that morning. But the shooting did not happen in the garage, but in Monique's bedroom. Donald also mentioned that Monique accidentally shot through the bathroom door while firing at Tony. So, she went to a construction site and stole a new door to replace the old one in order to avoid being discovered by the police. The police verified Donald's account and searched Monique's apartment as expected. The colors of the bathroom doors did not match. It was obvious that one of them was a newly behavior that clearly did not match what one would expect after such a shock. His further investigation led the police to find evidence that contradicted Monique's account. According to the facts of the case, Tony was shot 6 times, his death with the most fatal wound being in the back of his head. His trajectory of the bullet indicated that the shot had to be fired from above Tony's head to cause such damage. However, Monique was shorter than Tony. His death and a normal shooting position would not have produced such a trajectory. It therefore seemed likely that Tony had been struck after falling to the ground. His death suggesting that Monique's intention was not to subdue him but to kill him. Based on these findings, the police concluded that Monique's motive was revenge. Tony had deceived her and frequently cheated on her during their relationship. Which had fueled her resentment when she saw the ambiguous messages Kimberly sent to Tony. His death, she lost control and took the opportunity of argument to kill him on February 12, 2008. He's nearly 2 years after Tony's death, the case went to trial. During the opening remarks, the prosecution described Monique as a woman lacking a sense of security due to his young age and relatively minor involvement in the crime. He was not punished in this case.